Some children are protected so well, they grow up afraid of life. There's a moment every parent knows. The child is trying to do something, stack blocks, tie a shoe, climb something they probably shouldn't be climbing, and it's going wrong. Slowly, visibly, inevitably wrong, and every instinct you have says, help them fix it, step in before it falls apart. So you do. The blocks get stacked, the shoe gets tied, the child gets lifted down safely. And somewhere in that moment, in that quiet rescue, something else happened. Something you didn't mean to teach. Something you didn't even notice you were teaching. That when things go wrong, someone will come. The problem isn't that you helped. The problem is what the child didn't get to find out. They didn't get to find out that the blocks fall and the world doesn't end. That a knot can be undone and tried again. That the climb that scared them is something their own hands can figure out. They didn't get to find out what they're made of. And that's not a small thing to miss. That might be the most important information a person ever collects about themselves, and it can only be collected one way. By going through something, by feeling it not work and then deciding what to do next. You can't be told that you're capable, you have to find out. Think about the child who was never allowed to struggle, not in a neglectful home, in a loving one, a home where the parents showed up every time, where failure was something to prevent, not something to survive. That child grows up, gets to school, gets to a job, gets to a relationship that asks something hard of them, and they don't know what to do with hard, not because they're weak, because they were never introduced to it slowly in safe doses when someone was nearby and the stakes were small. Because every time the wall appeared, a door was opened for them, and they never learned that walls can be climbed. A child who never learns to fail often grows into an adult who is terrified of being seen failing. The fear didn't grow. It was just never shrunk down to size. Years later, that child is sitting in a car outside a job interview, hands shaking, heart racing. And suddenly, failure no longer means dropping blocks in a living room. It feels like something permanent, like something that could end everything. That feeling, that size, isn't about the interview. It's about every small moment of difficulty that was quietly removed before it could teach them anything. Some people don't avoid hard things because they're lazy. They avoid them because somewhere deep inside, failure still feels catastrophic, not as a thought, as a sensation, something they never unlearned because they were never given the chance. Some people stay in unhealthy relationships for the same reason they avoid difficult goals. Deep down, they don't trust themselves to survive what comes after failure. Here's what nobody tells you about failure. It has an after. The child falls off the bike. It hurts, they cry, silence. And then the world continues. The sun is still there, the street is still there, they are still there. And that information, that specific, physical, undeniable information, does something to a person. It rewrites something small but permanent. Falling is survivable. You cannot give a child that knowledge. You cannot explain it into them. They have to earn it the hard way, which is the only way it sticks. The parent who steps in too fast doesn't protect the child from pain. They protect the child from the discovery that pain has an end. There's a difference between being close and being in the way. Real parenting is resisting the urge to remove every obstacle, not because you don't care, because you care enough to let it be hard. It's the difference between kneeling next to them and lifting them over. One says, "I'm here, you can do this." The other says, "This is too much for you, let me." Children hear both, not the words, the action. And the action tells them what you actually believe about them. If you keep stepping in, keep solving, keep rescuing, keep smoothing the path, the message lands quietly without anyone meaning it. You are not capable of handling this alone. Children believe what they're shown, not what they're told. Eventually, they stop borrowing your confidence in them. They build their own or they don't. One day the world will ask something of them that you cannot answer for them. Not school, not a job interview, something that goes deeper than that, a loss they have to carry, a choice with no right answer. A moment where the only thing standing between them and collapse is whatever they built inside themselves, quietly over years. The world is not going to be gentle with them. Not at school, not at work, not in the relationships that will matter most. And on that day, the day the wall appears and no one opens a door, the only thing that will matter is whether they've ever figured out how to climb. Whether they know in their bones, not just in their head, that hard things can be gotten through. That knowledge doesn't come from being told they're strong. It comes from having stood at the edge of something difficult and found out, through their own hands, that they could manage it. The irony is this: the parent who can't watch their child struggle, who steps in every time, who can't sit with the discomfort of watching someone they love fail, that parent thinks they are protecting the child. They are not. They are protecting themselves from the discomfort of watching, from the guilt of not acting, from the fear that if they stand back and something goes wrong, it means they failed. But the real failure is quieter than that. It doesn't happen in the moment the child falls. It happens years later, in a car, in an office, in a relationship. When the person, now grown, stands in front of something difficult and feels a fear that is too large and doesn't know why. They don't know why, because no one connected it back. You don't have to let them break. That's not what this is. Standing back doesn't mean disappearing. It means being close enough to catch them if they truly need it, and far enough away to let them find out what they can do. There's a distance that says, "I see you, I'm here, and I believe you can figure this out." That distance is one of the harder things a parent ever holds, because love pulls you forward. Love wants to fix it. Love doesn't want to watch the fall. But the child who knows how to get back up, who carries the quiet knowledge that they've been down before and came through, that child is holding something no one handed them. They earned it, and that's the only way it's real. One day they will stand alone in front of something difficult, and in that moment they will either search for rescue or remember that they've survived before. The world continues after you fall. Most people have to learn that on their own when the stakes are already high. Some people were given the chance to learn it early, in small doses, with someone nearby who believed in them enough to let them struggle. That belief, the kind that steps back instead of stepping in, is harder to give than any rescue, but it's the one that lasts.